Hey everybody, we're continuing to learn some things about Canada. Tito, do you remember how many provinces does Canada have?
Oh, I know. 10 provinces.
That's right, we've talked about provinces and today we're going to talk about the 3 territories. But first, let's take a look at our map of Canada over here and see where we've traveled so far. We started talking about BC, British Columbia, that's where we live, way down in the corner. And then we talked about the 3 prairie provinces of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. And then we talked about the big province of Ontario, where we have the capital city of Canada, which is Ottawa. And then we moved on to the huge province of Quebec, where many people speak French. And last week we colored all of these 4 provinces red. These are the provinces that touch the Atlantic Ocean. New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, the tiny little province of Prince Edward Island, PEI, and then over here Labrador and Newfoundland. And those are all the provinces that touch the Atlantic Ocean. You know, if we got on a boat though and we sailed up here and we tried to take our boat through here, we might have trouble because it's very cold and there's a lot of ice in this water. This is the Arctic Ocean, and you can see that this part of Canada touches the Arctic Ocean. It gets very cold, especially in the winter, and that's where we have our 3 territories. First of all, right above British Columbia, we have the Yukon. So I'm going to put a Y there for Yukon. We also have the Northwest Territories right here, Northwest Territories. And your map may not have this line yet. If not, you can draw it. Between Saskatchewan and Manitoba, you continue up, and then a diagonal over here, and then it joins up with the ocean here. And this is the territory of Nunavut. So I'm going to put an N for Nunavut. I have left these territories white to remember that especially in the winter it gets very cold and a lot of the territories are above the tree line. That means it's not warm enough or long enough of a time of warmth in the summer for trees to grow. But even though there may not be a lot of trees up north, there are some very interesting animals. And Tito, I thought maybe you'd want to learn a little bit more about those animals.
Oh yeah, what kind of animals can we find up there?
Well, I happen to have an Arctic scene, and I'm going to show you over here, Tito, what some of the animals are that you might be able to find up in the north part of Canada, in the territories. First, we have this guy here.
He's got tusks.
He does. This is a walrus. Walrus have 2 tusks, and they use their tusks for cutting through the ice and defending themselves. And also, if they need a little bit of a grip on the ice to pull themselves out of the water, they can use their tusks for that too. They also have whiskers, which helps them find shellfish. So we have walrus that we might find up there. Also this guy, polar bear. He is a very large bear, white, and is able to stay warm because of his thick layer of blubber. They live near the sea ice because polar bears can swim and they like to catch seals to eat. We also have this animal here. Tito, do you know what that is?
Oh, that looks like a reindeer.
It is. Some people call them reindeer, but they're also known as caribou. And the male and the female caribou grow these very large antlers. And they travel around a little bit. So when it gets super cold way up north, they might come a little further south to find food. Those are the caribou. There are seals that we can find around here, but there are also seals that live in the cold waters of the Arctic Ocean. And once again, they have that thick layer of fat or blubber that keeps them warm. And then we talked about these animals before. Narwhals and beluga whales live in the cold waters of the Arctic. Narwhals, we call them the unicorns of the sea because of this long tusk that the males have, which is really a long tooth that they grow. Beluga whales are pretty cute. They are white when they grow up to be adults. and they are found in the Arctic waters too. And two other animals that you might spot in the Arctic are the Arctic fox and the Arctic hare. Rabbit is a hare. The Arctic hare is a bit bigger than regular rabbits, and both of these animals, the fox and the hare, are brownish gray in the summer so they can blend in with the rocks, and they turn white in the winter so they can blend in with the snow. The Arctic hare can dig burrows deep under the snow. Quite amazing how they can survive in that climate. Another animal that you may spot is the snowy owl. And owls, as we know, are nocturnal. They hunt during the night and they're awake or they sleep during the day. And because there's no trees up here, these owls just perch on the rocks. I'll have them perch on this rock here. One more animal I'll mention is this. This is a dog called a husky. And these dogs were used traditionally by the Inuit people for pulling their dog sleds because they have very warm fur and they're strong. They can go for a long time, traveling great distances. So those are some of the animals that you might find in the territories that are north in Canada.
They're really cool.
They sure are, Tito. And I'm going to ask you, what of those animals is your favorite?
Oh, I really like the polar bear.
The polar bear is a very dangerous animal, but very cute to watch. Hey, maybe you want to go closer to a polar bear.
Oh yeah, and I also heard that they have a really cool light show in the night in the sky.
That's true. In the north, sometimes you can see what's called the northern lights or aurora borealis, where there's just lots of colorful displays of light in the sky. Maybe you can see some of that as well.
Let's try. Polar bears are awesome. We can find them in northern Canada too. Aw, look at this one has babies. They have thick fur, so they can survive the cold. And you know what's really cool about the north? Sometimes you can see the northern lights in the sky called aurora borealis. They look beautiful, all the colors dancing in the sky. Oh, I would really like to see that. That is awesome.
So, Tito and I hope that you have fun learning a little bit more about Canada's 3 territories and some of the cool animals and things about the Arctic. Have fun!